Hello again, Bob Forshea here, Supply Chain Pro to Know, and we are back with another installment. This is number 6 of 13 on Sales and Operations Planning Maturity Assessment. So we're looking at all the different pieces of this moving puzzle so that we can better understand what good looks like. And so when we talk about the process where we are focused on decision making, obviously we have some targets and some KPIs. What we want to do is focus on enterprise level strategy, not down in the operational level detail. We want to stay up in the strategy level and some tactical discussions so that we are addressing specifically our targets, our KPIs, and most importantly, the items in the balanced scorecard. So you've got customer, you've got process, you've got people and innovation, and you've got finance. So there's 4 areas there, and then we need to make sure we're hitting all the cylinders on that. As we look at the process, we're considering the risks and the gaps. We're thinking about changes. We're thinking about what's the timeline look like. How soon do we need to take action? Are there any specific things that are already immediate and require action right now? Is it more about something in the future? And then we have to think about what's a range-based forecast mean to us. So a range could be up here, could be down here, and what happens in between. So we need to be prepared for each of those different discussions. When we look at a probabilistic forecast, we are thinking about how wide that might be and what that means to us in terms of supply. Are we flexible enough to do that? If not, what can we do to improve that? One of the basic metrics in terms of supply chain in the score benchmarking has to do with adaptability within a 30-day lead time. What we find is that top 10% performing companies can have dramatically higher ability to change their supply chain within a 30-day lead time, either to increase for taking more revenue or to decrease to eliminate some of the inventory position and risk, which is a big advantage over an average kind of performer that can only do maybe 20% increase and about 6% decrease. So we need to think about how can we be proactive to a fault. We need to make that really the mantra about decision making, focusing both on risks and opportunities. And then specifically on opportunities, this is a really interesting discussion because when we look at this as an opportunity to move into a new process, a new point of attack, a new extension of a product line, a new level of service, we might be able to attack a risk area that could be very attractive if we can get our hands around it, where the competition might be unwilling to even go there. They want to avoid that risk. And so if we go at this eyes wide open, head on, we might find that there are some things we can do to overcome that to our advantage. So this is a way we can grow market share and grow revenue, and it has to happen here in the S&OP conversation, where we get everybody on the same page. So the database behind this has to make sure that we are on a single source of truth. Everyone's on the same ERP system. We're fully integrated. We're looking at the same information, and we're using that to do some scenario planning, some what if, so that we can take a look at those risk opportunities. What if A? What if B? What if B plus? What if C? And so that allows us to do some of this decision-making ramp up so that we have possible recommendations to take the executive team at the end of that executive S&OP meeting. From this, we now can start to develop playbooks, so things that we can reapply. When these conditions appear, here's what we do. When these conditions materialize, this is what we do. And so it reduces some of the risk and guesswork because we now have a formula rather than having to keep reinventing the wheel. This gives us some leverage. We can reduce our uncertainty, and we can take advantage of the segmented information from customers with more clarity, more transparency, and a lot better accountability. If we're only looking at reporting what happened in the past, we're not positioning ourselves for this proactive thinking. We're not evaluating the gaps and the risks the way we should be. We're not doing the scenario planning because we're facing backwards again. We're thinking about what did we do before instead of what do we need to do in the future. And that means we're probably thinking in terms of silo functionality and not really focus on cross-functional performance metrics. So that's an important thing to recognize. Keeping it high level, keeping the decisions aimed at balanced scorecard and strategic objectives that are very clear, because we are all on one page together. So hopefully that gives you some food for thought. And again, we'll come back next. We'll be looking at the next segment, number 7 in our series of 13 on supply chain, S&OP maturity assessment. So thank you for your time, and we'll see you again real soon.